like, I mean, it didn't seem like the craziest lap dance that one could ever, especially not if you're gonna give fucking Satan a lap dance. I mean, get
Yeah,
in
I
it.
feel like the video is not as
Oh
controversial
no.
as everyone makes it out to be. But yes, it is
Yeah,
that
it was
time.
good. Yeah.
You're
Okay.
welcome. That's a great intro. Like, cause that's
Cool.
a great intro. But
Excellent.
yeah, it's tin hat time. Tin
Is
hat
it tin
time.
hat
Tin hat
time?
time. Welcome
Tin
to
hat time.
tin hat time. So, I'm Megan.
I'm Hannah.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about Folie à deux.
Folie à deux. The
Folie à deux.
strange concept of, or I guess the strange thing that happens, yeah, when two people or more are just a little bit too close knit and decide to share each other's delusions.
Yeah,
Not just cereal, not just milk, but
yeah.
delusions as well. Megan, I think that we of a lot of people out there in the world are I think we could have pulled off a folly ado if we like led ourselves to a life of crime. Just
I
decided not to be medicated.
Yeah, I think that it's very possible. Dude, it's such a weird phenomena. Like
It's
it's weird that you would pick up on someone else's delusions and be like, yeah,
yeah,
that's happening. But I don't know. I feel like it's also like really easy to fall into it. Like, look at QAnon, like that.
yeah. The whole cult. Well,
Um,
yeah,
like it's really easy, but I think any politics, right? You can get sucked in
yeah.
to literally politics or religion or anything
Cults,
like that.
yeah.
Cults,
Cults of personality.
um,
But it's interesting that like the difference I think between what you're talking about right there with like the QAnon stuff, where like yeah, that's definitely like morphing itself into a cult.
yeah,
Um, and this is that this is like more of an intimate sort of relationship. The folie à deux translates to from French to English as a madness for two, which
yeah,
doesn't that just sound darling? It's just a little I'm mad for you, you're mad for me, da-dee-da-doo. It sounds really precious compared to what it is, which is oftentimes, people doing truly upsetting things because they are sharing the same delusion,
yeah.
which is just
A lot of times, murder.
it's
Murder is the delusion,
yeah.
like, which is
Well,
terrifying. Like,
well, the delusion leads to murder.
yes.
I know I looked up a couple of really interesting cases to bring to the table today.
Yeah, tell me
Yeah.
about it.
Okay. Yeah. I'll do one. Then you do one.
Yeah, okay.
Cool. So this is one that I heard about a couple years ago on our mommies and daddies told us about it on My Favorite Murder and Last Podcast on the Left. Yeah. Um, I
uh,
just got like this weird embarrassing where it's like I want to say something about how attracted to Ben Kissel I am, but like if he ever hears this, it would make me want to die that he just heard me say that out loud. So
that's even funnier. I never remember who was who though on there, and like I feel bad. Like
Ben's the
I
gigantic hot one.
Yeah, but I don't know. I only know like their little
Just
cartoon
oh yeah,
like logo.
yeah,
I don't know like I know one of them is chubby with a beard because he talks about it all the time, and he's the one with the hot wife. And then
yeah. That's Henry.
Is Ben
You need to
Kissel
know our dads better.
is
Our daddies. No,
is
stop. I'm gonna be so embarrassed if they ever like that would make me want to die.
yeah, it's funny though. But like
Yeah.
which one is Ben Kissel the one who like is like the main, like he keeps everybody on track?
No, that's Marcus. This is amazing. Let's just go into detail about another podcast.
Yeah,
Like this podcast is describing. It's podcastception.
yeah.
Podception.
You know what? I feel like they
Anyway,
haven't
but
followed them. But so
yeah.
what is this story though? What are
So the story is one that I heard from My Favorite Murder and Last Podcast on the Left about the Erickson twins.
okay?
Ursula and Sabine Erickson. So this is a case of folie à deux that follows pretty textbook to what folie à deux means, because it happens usually between family members who are close, very close, upsettingly close, codependent as shit. And usually isolated, whether just socially or literally physically as well as socially. So the Erickson twins were Swedish twins. They were born November 3rd, 1967. So they were Scorpios. It's enough.
Yeah.
It's enough said for me.
Yeah.
Scorpios. And in 2008,
I like Scorpios.
I know you do, but
they're so intense. They're fun. They're fun and intense. They're passionate. That's what they are. They're passionate people.
They're so annoying. But I guess, let's not judge people based solely off their zodiac sign. Only how much of a twat they are about things.
Like, that's the whole thing, right?
That is a whole thing.
Yeah.
I talked about that with my therapist today.
Judge them on their big 3.
Yeah, exactly. So these Scorpio bitches, and we can say bitches because we're girls, ladies, adult women.
Sure.
So they're in Ireland. They're traveling around in Ireland and the UK, and this is 2008, and they end up on a bus leading to London from Liverpool, and they're being weird on the bus, and that takes a lot. It takes a lot to be. I mean, I guess I don't know.
On the bus.
Yeah, I've been a bus traveler before. As stated before, I am a poor person, so I have traveled by bus, and it is, whew, oh man.
It definitely takes a lot. Like, usually you have to be like the person who's actively yelling at someone else to get kicked off the bus.
Yeah, you have to be doing some weird shit to get kicked off of a bus. I saw a sex worker attempting to work on the bus, and she was not kicked off. She was asked to knock it off till we got to her stop.
Yeah.
Seattle. Wow. So they're acting weird enough on a bus that the bus pulls over to the gas station and is like, you girls gotta get.
Do you know what they were doing, though? Because the article I read didn't say anything about what they were actually doing.
The articles that I read said acting strangely. I went to Wikipedia to see if I could dig up anything else through like their like I love their like related links shit. And I couldn't find like descriptions of what they were doing. I'm just gonna straight up say I did not watch the CCTV footage of this whole case because I don't need that in my brain. But while I was listening to My Favorite Murder, they were talking about how they were like being weird about their bags, and like that like the bus driver was like, listen, you gotta let me look in those bags, you're being real weird.
My precious.
Yes, exactly. They're sitting in the back like 2 Swedish golems going nah. And so he's like, if I can't look in the bags, you can't come back on the bus with those bags. Like, no. And he told the guy at the gas station or services station, as they call them over there, he told the dude behind the counter, bloke, I should say, behind the counter, that like, these two out here, they're being squirrely. I don't know what's up with them. They're being weird with their bags. And, you see something, say something. Come on and party tonight. So the guy behind the counter was like, for sure, called the cops and was like, hey, there's these ladies and they're being weird and they're in the parking lot. Oh, hey, where are those weird girls? The weird girls were gone. The weird girls had decided to run across the M6, which is like trying to go across the 5 at like in like Sacramento, or like, what is it, the 84 up here, or the 99 where you are? I don't know. Let's stay. It's going across a big fuck all highway.
So in Sacramento, it's 50 and 80. Those are the.
I thought the 5 was there.
They intersect. 5?
Because the 5's in Seattle and in San Diego.
I don't know. The 101, like, no. The 101's the coastal one.
Yeah. So, like, imagine that they ran across the 101 to get into the median. All of our East Coast listeners, just picture a highway. And now they're in the middle of it. And so that's...
2-lane, though.
What?
The 101's like a 2-lane, like the entire way.
Okay, Megan, you're getting caught up on the fucking highway that I used to describe here. Shut up. She's my friend, I swear. So they somehow get themselves into the center median of the M6, the big ass freeway, and then the cops have been called again, and they're like, you can't be there.
Stuff. Like,
they darted across a fucking freeway to get into the middle lane. Yeah, they're doing weird stuff. That's enough. If that's all you did today, it was weird enough.
Yeah.
So the cops are like, please don't, wait, hang on, we're gonna get you. And then there's like, fuck it. And I think, hang on, let me check my notes here. Ursula goes first. She just bolts and immediately gets hit by a truck.
Oh, God.
Like, immediately, like, runs in front of, like, a big fuck-off truck. And the guy's just like, she just ran out in front of us. I was like, oh, man. That poor dude. She's not dead. No, she's not dead. She's just, oh, shit, you didn't.
Final Destination style, like, just.
It was like that, but it didn't kill her. And, like, boom. Just bonk, you know.
Imagine people listening to headphones listening to this. Do not.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're just shouting into you. So sorry, dear listeners. Turn us down. We're loud. But, yeah, so Ursa's immediately bonk. Banged by this truck, or lorry, as they call them there, which is just, isn't it darling? Lorry. Wouldn't you rather get run over by a lorry than run over by a truck?
I like how, like, all Americans, for the most part, think British accents and stuff are, like, really cute, but all British people are, like, for the most part, think American accents are fucking weird and gross. Like, they're so harsh.
Well, except for my southern accent.
Yeah, sometimes, but that's because it's technically, like, in a roundabout way, also an English accent.
Yeah, because when English people, British people of the UK and Ireland, whatever, do an American accent, it usually sounds more southern. Anyway, so Ursula, like I said, smashed by the lorry. Mm-hmm. And the cops are freaking out. They're like, oh, God, immediately starting to, like, call for backup from the ambulances. And then Sabine does the exact same thing. Runs in. No, but she also gets smashed by a car.
Jesus Christ.
I know, neither of them died. Neither of them had life-threatening injuries from this either, which is just some weird shit. But hang on, I'm putting up the finger. So both of them are injured. They have Ursula is getting medical attention. Uh-huh. Sabine, when she recovers, like comes to consciousness, she says, fuck your medical help. And she refuses medical attention. And then she attacks the cop who tries to come and help her because she just got smashed by a car. And she's gone completely bonkers. And so they arrest her. They take her into the Stratford-on-Trent, Trent-on-Trout, whatever they call it out there, the police station. It's just the name of the town. Oh. I think it's Stratford-on-Trent or on Tent. They do cute things over there. But she was arrested, but then she was released because she was calm. And I guess a calm white person is going to get released. And so she's wandering around with like this weird plastic bag, like full of her stuff, and like just not knowing where Ursula is and like what's going on, and like she can't find her sister and shit. And this poor dude named Glenn Hollinshead of Stratfordshire, he sees her on the street and he's like, this kid, like, this is no good. Like, this poor thing. And like, do you need help? Like, okay, you're lost. People have your sister, and like the people were coming for her, and like he was like, you need some help. Come on, let's get you off the streets. Let's go get you a nice cup of tea. And he takes her back to his house, and then she stabs him to death. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. So she was arrested, obviously, because she didn't. They didn't do insanity. I don't think. I didn't look as much into the trial part of it, but she was arrested and convicted, and she served in prison until 2011, which means to me that like they weren't able to prove insanity. So she was proven culpable, or at least, capable of understanding right and wrong. I don't know if she tried to hide again, but she was arrested. She served in prison until 2011, and then she went back to Sweden. That's what we know. That is the case of the Folie Deux. of the Erickson twins.
Yeah, the
in miniature.
The little snapshot that I read about them, at least the beginning, because I only got halfway through it, was
only got halfway through a snapshot. Good job.
Yeah. So was that one of the sisters lived in Sweden, right? Like stayed in Sweden, and the other one was living in London or whatever. And like the one who was living in London, like, you know, got the visit from the sister, and then they like dipped out. They abandoned her kids. Like the dad was at work or something, and they
shit, yeah.
out, and the kids, I guess, were at home. I don't know how old the kids were, but they just like literally just like were like out of here and like got on that bus. Like I thought that was one of the
they had like a snap, and that seems to be what happens in a lot of the cases of folie à deux or famille à deux.
That's
Felix à famille. I'm trying to say French words right now, and
famille à deux.
No, because that would be family of two. So it would be Felix à famille.
It wouldn't.
Which is a madness for the family.
Oh, I don't know.
Which is, I feel like, probably.
French. I don't know.
I never learned French. No.
It's like how I also don't know Italian. It's just 0%.
Well, you're not Italian.
I'm not Italian, and I'm not French, but you know.
No, but you thought you were Italian for a long time.
Yeah.
Took a lot of pride in it, as I recall.
Still have
that little name. Spit in a cup. She's Greek.
Oh, it's funny. It's very funny.
Great. She's Irish and Greek.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
it's very interesting though that they just, I think that's the weirdest thing about this phenomenon is that it's like literally people who just snap, and it's usually sisters. Like,
yeah,
it seems to be sisters, mother, daughter. Like a lot of the ones that I saw, like especially like even when you like Google it, it'll be like folie à deux, and then like sisters is like one of the first things that pops up because it's so common between sisters.
And it seems to more often happen with twins.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which leads me to wonder with like that strange idea of like the twin brain connection, and like twins, if you're out there listening and you have like a weird connection with your twin where like they broke their hand and you felt it, please let us know. I'm fat. Like that shit's amazing.
Those. I think
but it seems like, I think that simply by the nature of twins, and like I've known some twins in my days, and I always wanted a twin, man. But they would know things, you know, like, so I feel like they share a lot. Sharing a madness isn't that much of a stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a story to tell me?
I do. So speaking of sisters, we'll talk about Christine and Leah Papin.
Ooh. Oh shit, bitches! These two.
They're super interesting. Like, I think of like all the ones that I did snapshots about, because obviously I didn't read in depth.
It's a snapshot week.
They were the most interesting. But also, like, I also feel like their story made the most sense. So they grew up really with parents who just essentially didn't give a shit about them. Their mom definitely had some mental health problems, like 100%. So they had an older sister. The older sister was sent to a convent. They were sent to orphanages and convents, like when they were really young.
Cool.
So like literally were like unwanted. And like the mom was crazy. Like it was suspected that like she'd had an affair. And the dad was like, we should move and start a new life. And she's like, I'll literally kill myself if we move. And like all this shit.
This sounds really like a good family life.
Yeah,
sounds very sane.
Very, very stable. A lot of like mental healthiness. So
a lot of affirmation, validation.
Every day, daily affirmations. Yeah. But no, so eventually, you know, they grow up, whatever, and yada yada yada. They get to a point where they are either reunited or something, but they end up being employed at these people's house, and I literally don't remember their names because I forgot. So do you know their names?
Renee.
I know Renee and Genevieve, and it's like something with an L.
It looks like
Lambie.
Leone.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't remember their last name.
That's well, their last name is hard to pronounce. Like,
really. Well, it's very French.
But anyway, so they were maids. Like, one of them was a cook, one of them was a maid, and like apparently the madame of the house was pretty critical, of them, and like, would constantly criticize the dusting, would constantly criticize the cooking, all of those things. Like, there's a little bit where the madame would literally put on a white glove and like go, do the whole like thing, and would be like, you didn't do a very good job. And
I've had to stand at attention while somebody went by with a white glove to see if everywhere was clean.
Yeah,
it's really stupid.
Yeah. But anywho, it was one of those things where, one, that's a crazy person thing to do. Obviously, if you're in the military, like, I sort of get it.
It's different. It was different. And that was like literally only in boot camp, and the one time that our chief was super pissed at us on the boat.
Yeah.
In our defense, we don't have one. I mean, in his defense, like, we had been bad seamen that day.
Should have been swallowed. Anywho, but anywho, so
bitch.
They it's such a funny joke. They have this critical of them all the time. They get like a half day off once a week, which is insane. So like, we thought like our work weeks were bad, now like they literally never got a full day off. So like, obviously that's gonna make someone a little tense.
This is like before things like workers' rights existed. Sorry, I was talking over you.
Yeah, no, you're good. It's like the early 1900s. So it's like, there's no, I don't know. You're right. There's no workers' rights. There's no OSHA. Like, there's nothing that would protect them from, being a little above slaves, honestly. Like, they were basically, they were servants, but, they had
beating your servants was not, I don't think it was actively illegal.
Yeah, I don't know. It's also France, so who knows?
Careful.
Yeah.
France is a beautiful country.
Yeah.
Full of beautiful people. Don't offend our French listeners, Megan.
Yeah, but like, also they used a guillotine until like 1979.
It is one of the more humane ways to execute somebody. It's a lot better than the electric chair or lethal injection, which is not painless in any way, shape, or form. It's also better than leaving somebody on death row to rot.
Yeah,
but also, I don't believe in the death penalty.
Yeah, I don't think we can justify being good. But like, anywho, that's
whatever. That's neither here nor there.
Getting through the story.
Right on back into these Pepin sisters. So it sounds like their mom was a bitch.
Well, their mom was a bitch, then their boss was a bitch. They had a rough life, essentially.
Yeah. Their work mom was a bitch. So that's what I meant.
It came to a head. One of them, I can't remember which one. I think it's Christine. I think Christine is ironing. And what?
No, I was.
Oh, I thought you were raising your hand.
No, no, sorry. No, my sweater got caught on the back of my chair.
No, so Christine is ironing, and apparently the electric iron had issues before, and it shorted out and like kind of had like a little explosion or whatever. But like, it was busted essentially. And she went to her boss. Like, her boss came home and she was like, "Yo, this shit's broke. Like, we need a new one or whatever." Like, I can't
do any ironing.
Yeah, like,
this busted ass iron.
This is busted. And so I guess the madame responded critically and did not respond with compassion. She was just, I don't know exactly, what she said, but I can only imagine it's something along the lines of like, "You dumb bitch, like, you broke my shit, like, you should have fucking figured it out," whatever. Mm-hmm. But Christine straight up snaps. Like, she's over it. She lunges at the madame and murders her by gouging out her eyes.
No.
Her bare hands. Like, yeah, just
stop that.
Yelling at Leah to basically come help her. And then they like bash in her skull with like a silver pitcher, and they kill her daughter who is somewhere in her teens to 20s, unknown. Young daughter.
I do not like eyeball things. I don't feel like I'm unique or independent in that in any way, shape, or form. But
pretty brutal. Like pretty brutal way to kill somebody, to like literally like that's a lot of rage. Like that's like straight up.
I mean, I don't know how much rage effort it takes to get, like, my self-defense classes have been just like jab and scoop. Yeah. But like, could you imagine? No. Stop.
Yeah, so that happens. The cops get called because the dad like comes home and finds this scene, and so he calls the cops. The cops come. The sisters have locked themselves in their bedroom, and they're up there for like an hour or something, and the cops finally get in. The sisters are in bed in their robes together. And like, there's a little bit of like, that's kind of weird. Like, there's some accounts that say they were naked in bed together, but like other ones, like more accurate ones are robes. And there's pictures of them arrested in their robes.
And I've seen that, and they're creepy.
Yeah. But there's a whole lot more happens, right? So like, they go to jail, whatever. They're separated, but then they're brought together, and there's some phrasing that apparently is used that makes it seem like they were potentially in a sexual relationship, which is even grosser. So
describe my face.
Honestly, like a Muppet, like I don't know, whatever, like the grumpy Muppet. You know the one that like
Beaker when he's not happy.
No, not Beaker. It's like the bird one.
Did you just call me Sam Eagle?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, you're Sam Eagle.
Mr. Arrow from Muppet Treasure Island?
Yes.
Okay, we have talked about how I am insecure about my nose.
No, it's because of your mouth. It's the way your mouth, that's Beaker would like also apply, but
and be a little bit better than calling me.
I can't unsee the bird one though.
Friendship over.
Okay, but like we've talked about this, like about what is it, like women are called like one of three things:
bird, mouse, clown. Yeah,
bird, mouse, and a clown. And like, you got the better one. Like, we know which one I look like. So
it's a mouse.
Sure, not a clown. So
no, you look like a little chipmunk with your little chipmunk cheeks.
Yeah, but it isn't bird, mouse, chipmunk. It's bird, mouse, clown. You either look like a bird, a mouse, or a clown. So you look like a bird. I hate. A clown. So it's okay.
I never should have
dye my hair orange soon, so that'll be like really fun. Like
that'll be really cute. Thank you for telling me that I look like fucking Sam Eagle. In the middle of this recording session. Excellent. So I guess bringing you back to what you were talking about, you evil bitch.
So they basically went batshit crazy, had a hard time being separated. Eventually it led to, they got convicted. Like, they went to trial. They couldn't prove insanity. So one of them was sentenced to like 10 years. Leah was sentenced to 10 years. And then Christine was originally sentenced to the guillotine. But she basically went on a hunger strike.
More humane.
Yeah, she went on a hunger strike though, and starved herself to death essentially.
Oh my god! Just let them cut off your head.
So yeah, I mean, pretty wild. Because Leah got out. Leah survived it, and like she went on.
From what I remember reading, she came out on the other side.
Huh?
Yeah. I said, from what I remember reading, sorry we keep talking over each other. There's just a little delay. But from what I remember reading, she, like, changed her name, met back up with her bitch mom, and was like, what's up, bitch? I guess I'll live here now. And, like,
yeah.
Give me a job as a housekeeper again. I wasn't the one who snapped at first.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, man. Starving yourself to death in, like, protest at prison is pretty badass.
It is, but it's also definitely a crazy person thing to do.
It's not like, I feel like if you were convicted on death row of a crime you didn't commit, you knew there was no way you were getting off and you wanted to like do it on your own terms, whatever. I don't know. There's reasons to go on a hunger strike.
Yeah, like you're possessed and the demon possessing you won't let you eat.
Or you've been wrongfully imprisoned and you're not going to eat until they let you out. And they're not allowed to let you just die. So,
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Your move.
Probably just aliens. I don't know.
It can't always. I don't think that we can blame the aliens for the Papin sisters.
Alien madness.
Alien madness.
What if they were abducted? Like, what if all this like Folie Deux, like either they came in contact with aliens and like something happened where they went mad, or they were abducted, came back, and then were mad. Because it's always people that are together.
I feel like that would at some point get brought up.
What about people that are totally normal? They have no track record of having bad history, being crazy, or anything, and then just straight up go bonkers for one day.
Let me tell you a story about that exact situation.
Oh, please tell me.
Yeah. Do you want to go on a tromp about with me?
I would love to tromp about with you.
Yeah, I'll go like tromping around.
Be a sexual term, and like we just don't know.
Tromping?
I'm gonna
probably.
I'm gonna Urban Dictionary it while you.
Because I just think of like me and my boots tromping around, clomping and tromping in my boots. Okay, so I'm talking about the Tromp family of Australia. The whole Melbourne. I'm not sure exactly where things are in Australia. I know they're not far outside of Melbourne. So this is August 2006. There's dad, Mark, mother, Jacoba, which is a dope name. I love the name Jacoba. Sisters Ella and Rihanna, and the brother Mitchell. Mom was pretty good at naming kids. And Ella, Rihanna, and Mitchell are all adults in their like 20s.
Okay.
So this family, the Tromp family, has a berry farm. They farm berries in the middle of, like, outside of Melbourne in Australia. I don't know what kind of berries.
You could say that it's their jam.
Berries are their jam. Oh, man. See, there's a reason why you're my fucking friend, and it's because you say things like that. I love you so much. So this is exactly like what you were talking about earlier, where I'm opening my second beer for the day. Is that these were people who were well-respected members of the berry farming society of Melbourne, which I imagine is a lot. I don't know anything.
I don't know.
I've actually been to Melbourne.
I would think that, like...
But I don't remember, and it was 10 years prior to this, and it had nothing to do with the berries. But, so, let me try to rein myself in, focus up, and tell a story like I didn't just do a line of Adderall, which I did not do. I swear to God, Dad, if you're listening.
You're not implicating yourself in it.
I'm not implicating myself. I'm just saying I'm acting like a crackhead for some reason because the story gets me excited. Because it's bonkers. It's so weird. But this family that had no prior history of mental illness in it. They were your average berry farmers. They were just like regular people who farmed berries and had their kids berry farming along with them with their big baskets of strawberries all the time. And I'd imagine goats.
I wouldn't let the goats near the berries, though.
No, but they're there for the aesthetic.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, they like suddenly...
berry goat cheese.
So good. Stop. Don't. We're going to get through this one. I hate you. And the equal measure that I love you. So they...
He's in the fridge, so...
Stop! I want it. You're such a bitch. Let me talk. So they suddenly fled their berry farm, convinced that they were imperiled. They left behind phones, credit cards, anything that could be traced. They piled into their car, and they vanished, sparking a massive manhunt because the regular-ass Trump family from down the road just poofed into a distance.
Because they were abducted, probably.
No, they didn't. Okay. I get where your head's at, but they didn't actually poof. They got into their car and drove off, where apparently mother, father, and sisters were like, everyone's after us. Like, they thought that they were being tracked by, them. There's a lot of the man coming after people in these kind of like situations, and like
it's always someone or they're after me.
They thought that their phones were.
Thing happens like either when you have a psychotic break or you were abducted by an alien and you're like they're after
right so
it could be like Skinwalker Ranch. You never know. Maybe Trump Ranch is like Skinwalker Ranch and there's some weird shit going on.
It's not the same at all though, because we let our daddies tell us about Skinwalker Ranch already and had to Yeah.
I feel like it should be more like zaddies though, like not daddies. Like,
it's problematic how into the boys on last podcast on the left that I am. And I feel myself blushing.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like realistically, if they were ever to listen to our podcast, it wouldn't be like right now. Like it would be like years from now. Like,
I know, and it's so cringy.
Yeah, who cares? Keep going.
Okay, forgot what we were talking about. Okay, so the father, Mark, was found wandering around in Wangaratta.
Is that like one of the Harry Potter spells? Wingardium Leviosa.
No,
that's where J.K. Rowling got it. Was the name
Wangardia. Wangardia, after he just bolted from the car that they were all, like, the whole family, like, was found later dispersed. Like, the family...
They just straight up dipped and, like, left their fucking car?
Yeah, Dad just, like, leaves the car and apparently just bolted across the freeway in Wangarda and was just running amok out there. So he was found wandering around. Rihanna was found in the back of a stranger's truck. It said Ute in the... news.com.au article from 2017 that I read. But I'm just going to use context clues here and imagine that a ute is Australian for pickup truck.
Yeah, I think that is the case. It's like some type of truck. I can only imagine.
Context clues. So Rihanna was passed out in the back of a truck. Ella allegedly stole a car to get home, and Mitchell just straight up took a train.
Yeah.
Like, so they got into the car, they drove this weird path all around and went to like this cave thing, and then they split up, and then they all just came back home a little while later, and everyone was like, the fuck was that? Mr. Trump, what happened? And he was like, it's a little bit embarrassing, really. That's not an Australian accent at all. Not even a little bit.
That's a British accent.
I can't do an Australian accent. They're
harder to do.
Werewolves, not swearwolves.
I know, like, but that's also New Zealand.
It is New Zealand.
And that's slightly different.
It is. Snicks. Does anyone care for snick?
I will officially
snicks?
Declare to the podcast that New Zealand accents are superior to Australian accents.
Hey. Easy there. You don't need to, you know what? There's enough differences going on right now between Kiwis and Aussies. Why don't we just bring in a little bit more love?
Yeah, but like, New Zealand has Jermaine Clement, so...
No, that's fair. And Britt McKenzie. And it's where Middle Earth is.
And there's a dude who has very funny TikToks. He's also a musical artist. He's very good. I think his name's like Three Kings.
Cool.
He's very attractive too.
Probably he's from New Zealand. Anyway, so it seems like, and then the mom, Jacoba, was found in an agitated state and sent to a psych hospital. But the whole family is really rather embarrassed. They were quoted as saying, "Oh, we didn't mean to get famous for this. That's not what we wanted. That's for famous people." It's like, you guys loaded into your car and just fucking drove off. Didn't tell anybody, didn't say anything, and then just scattered, and then wandered back home. And then when the police were like, "Where the fuck were you?" Everybody was just like, "Hey, we're you guys were missing for like days and now you're back, like explain yourselves. They're like, oh, well, this is all rather embarrassing, and suddenly we're British and not Australian again, whatever. But yeah, I think that one is so weird because they just all went bonkers for a minute or two and then they
didn't kill
bounced
anyone.
back.
They didn't.
No, they didn't do anything anywhere to anyone at all.
They didn't do anything illegal either.
Homegirl allegedly stole a truck. But also, I mean, if you gotta get your ass home, you gotta get your ass home.
Like, I guess. But...
And I feel like
Wait, hang on, though. Hold up. Just real quick. How did the one dude get a train if they had no money?
Oh, that's what I was about to bring up. The middle brother, like the middle sibling, who's just like, I picture him sitting in the back seat being like, okay.
He was the same one.
Okay. I'm actually gonna stick my phone in my pocket real quick. Yeah. And then I think they found his phone, and like one of the sisters was like, he's got a phone, and hucked it. But the reason why this is like a Folie Deux situation, or Folie Famille, whatever, I'm trying. Yeah. Is that because the dad was the one who started off with the delusions, like with the paranoia, and that it was like he was like under increasing amounts of stress, and it was getting worse and worse, and like the stress was building, and he kind of snapped thinking that people were coming after him, and it infected all the family members around him to the point where that article that I read about was Rihanna Trump talking about the whole thing, where she was
so Mr. Trump, his berry farm put him into a real jam that preserved his insanity.
Boo. Boo.
That's what you could say. But no, it sounds like he straight up had like just a mental breakdown, and then he
it sounds like,
except for the middle.
Yep, he had a mental breakdown. Then his wife and daughters joined in, and Mitch was just there like, okay, I'm gonna go now. Yeah, so he bounced back home, and the family would rather not talk about it. Yeah. Respect their privacy. Stop bringing it up on podcasts.
I definitely get it though. Like, I mean, because like, man, I can only imagine. Like, can you imagine like your family having like a family crisis and it becomes national, then global news? Global news.
I mean, I've had a family that has had breakdown crises that have become town news.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I've had like people be like, oh, Austin.
Yeah.
That was Austin's? Like, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not having people from, another country calling you and going, hey, can we interview?
Oh, no, that's just because our stuff is just regular garden variety depressing. It's not like depressing on an epic scale.
Yeah, just garden variety American craziness.
Yeah, I'd say it's good old-fashioned Southern family dramas.
Yeah. Oh.
But no, I thought you were just going to say, could you imagine having a family that has like that much mental health problems? And I'm like,
No, I'm pretty convinced that actually like most families have lots of mental health problems and nobody just addresses it. So
my therapist and I talked about that today.
Yeah. I know I had a talk with my therapist and she like literally talked about, she's like, yeah, like even if like you think you're crazy or you're weird or whatever, like everybody can benefit from therapy. Like if you have trauma, if you don't have trauma, like everyone should go to therapy.
Yes, and as somebody who has now been to therapy twice, which is like honestly good that I've like followed up and gone back and like liked this person enough to go back more than once, I feel like I'm fixed.
Yeah. I read that the Trumps though, they did get mental health help and like they're good now, right? Like they got
that's good.
Mental health shit taken care of.
As somebody who, I don't know if you remember, but before we moved in together, when I had that lovely little panic attack on campus at BSU, had to be escorted to a nurse's office. So, mental breakdowns happen.
They do.
They happen. Stress happens. And, I feel like the thing about the Trump case is that it's just weird. It's just weird.
Well, it's the weirdness of it wasn't just the dad having a mental breakdown. So it was the whole family into it.
Did I ever? No, that's not on the podcast story. Never mind.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'll bring up.
But yeah, no, it's weird. I don't know. It's probably aliens. They probably got it up.
I don't know, man. Although, like, the fact that this one takes place in Australia lends the aliens a little bit more credence to this one. Because for whatever reason, I don't know what it is about Australia, but it just seems to me that that's where the aliens would go.
Well, it seems like every story I hear, it's always like the desert. Like
it's the desert.
You never hear, at least I've never heard a story where it's like, I was deep in the woods by a lake and I saw aliens. Like,
no, it's either you're at sea or you're in the desert. So it seems like they're trying to land in the empty places to be like, perhaps we should look around here, Zingborg.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. But the problem with the desert is that desert people are unreliable. Just like sea people are unreliable. As a sailor, whatever. We're people who like to drink and tell yarns. So when you hear something from a desert person or a sea person, you're just like, cool. Sure, you saw them lights.
I feel like people like fishermen.
Also hill people.
Well, maybe that's why like aliens haven't talked to us, is because they've only talked to sailors and the hills have eyes type people.
Hey, I was talking about the not hills have eyes people, but hill people. Like, I'm a hill person. Like, people from the hills.
Yeah, but we're talking about the desert. Like, the desert, like, the movie The Hills Have Eyes, I thought, like, they're literally, like, in the desert.
Oh, I'm going to confess something here. I didn't watch that one. It felt like it was going to be in a way I wasn't going to enjoy.
It's gross. Like, it's definitely, like, a gross movie.
Yeah.
I barely remember it. I don't even think I, like, fully paid attention to it. And that was even, like, pre, having decent games on your phone days, where you like watch a movie and like half watch it.
You're not really watching it. It's just like, how many screens can you get between your face and the TV?
I think that movie like literally came out during like the flip phone era. Flip phone and like slide and like kick, like sidekicks. Like it was definitely sidekick era. So
I didn't have a sidekick. I had one like that was kind of like a knockoff one, but it was blue. I was really into it. And like you could like, it had like the keyboard that you would like slide it up and like, yeah, I can type on a keyboard with 2 thumbs. It's fine. How's your razor treating you over there?
Yeah, I know, which is funny. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I think that like T9 texting would still be faster than.
I was so fast at T9 texting, and I didn't have to look.
Like, in my pocket.
Like, I would always like, I just like, because I didn't have one when I was in high school, but I did have one when I was in the Coast Guard. And you weren't supposed to put your hands in your pockets because then you were wearing your Coast Guard mittens. Yeah. I had a lot of people be like, were you wearing your Coast Guard mittens, Austin? I'm like, what are you talking? Oh, shit, fine. I'm pull my hand out of my pocket. I'm like, we're on the back of the boat smoking. Leave me alone. But yeah, I could like stick my hand kind of like in my pocket and like text my boyfriend while we were at muster or whatever. It's like, yeah, no, it's fine. I'm just adjusting my shirt. It's fine.
Yeah, like, oh man, I can like just like I can think about the patterns or like for like certain words.
We used to use we would do like a number code where we would just send like we would write out the numbers for what it would be in T9 and you had to like put it together to figure out what it would be. So like yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh, the good old days.
So that has nothing to do with Folie Do. If anyone is still listening, we appreciate it.
It's okay. But yeah, Folie Do is weird.
It is weird.
It's a weird topic. I don't want to.
Yeah. Did you want to cover it anymore, or do you think we're good? Like.
Yeah, I think like covered that it's like depressing and like also just batshit crazy. Like
it is really depressing.
I mean,
I think
we could wildly speculate that people were possessed.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think it's just mental illness.
I think that this one is. I think we've accidentally done 2 Bummersvilles in a row. Where it's like, I wish we could say something cooler than mental illness was happening here, but
Yeah.
mental illness, just like last time, it was just drifting away to die slowly at sea. I re-listened to that one and I was like, I could hear the concern in my voice when I was like putting myself in that wife's and mother's position.
But like,
I had a dream about it, dude. Like I took the Mary Celeste a little bit too close to me.
That's why you gotta do what I do, which is like skim articles.
Or so not care or do your homework properly.
In this, like somehow like the Virgo person is the one who like didn't do any homework, and
my moon is in Virgo. How dare you?
The Sagittarius is the one who did all the fucking homework.
I do every week. You've just been like, and this is no shade. I love it. It's who we are, and it's great. But you're just like,
it depends what you talk
yeah. What you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Oh, are you gonna talk about it? I read an article. I'll chime in. Like, okay, cool. I'll send you all of my notes. When the fuck did I become Hermione?
I don't know. You grew out your hair. That's what it is.
Oh no! Yeah. I did grow out my hair.
It's luscious. So.
Thank you. It's from all of the minerals from the mineral springs that Nick and I went to yesterday.
You know what I heard? I heard that rice water also good for like your hair. Like,
yeah, probably. I don't know. Seems sure. Why wouldn't it be?
We should probably end this episode though, because we definitely just.
Oh yeah, no, we're just fully having a conversation now and still recording, huh? Okay, guys. Well, it's been 4 episodes, so that's exciting for us. Just so you know, guys, we're now on Spotify, we're on Anchor, we're on YouTube. We are pretty much.
We're on like Google Podcasts, a bunch of other streaming services, so look for us.
Yeah, look for us. We're out and about. We're around. We are always on Instagram at 10 Hat Time Podcast. We are at Gmail at 10 Hat Time Podcast at gmail.com, and we would love to hear from you guys. Tell us your stories. Do you like conspiracies? Yeah, is there anybody out there?
Whatever your favorite, like,
not if you can hear me.
Weird story, conspiracy theory that we should talk about, or whatever. Like, we definitely would love to get listener mail, so we can start reading it. So
yeah. And like I said last week,
our friends for them though. Like,
yeah, for sure.
That's.
But like I said last week, it literally doesn't matter if we are screaming into the void. You're not going to get rid of us.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be back every Wednesday with new episodes.
Yeah.
Be on the lookout.
So yeah, Folie, Deux. If you're interested and you want more information, I suggest looking up My Favorite Murder. They've done a few good episodes on a couple of the cases, on those 2 cases that we covered. Last Podcast on the Left is always good for a laugh. Wikipedia has everything you could ever want and more. Megan, do you have any shout-outs you want to give this week? Any what's-ups?
I can't. I feel like you're giving me a signal, and I don't
know. I was just seeing if you wanted to say anything. Maybe hi to Kelly or to...
Yeah, Kelly, hi every time, right? Kevin, too.
What's up, Kelly? She's one of our favorite listeners, who listens and cares.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. So. All right, well, let's again, someday we'll figure out how to quit this thing. I just don't know how to quit you.
I don't know how to quit you. All right, everybody. Bye.
Bye.